Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to the IEM Brazil 2023 qualifiers, close qualifiers. It's 00Nation taking on Fluxo. My name is Kai. I'm joined by the wonderful Dean Brown.
Yeah, and I'm hyped. I love the pool we've got as well with Nuke, Anubis, and Ancient. There should be an interesting 3 maps if we go to the full distance. And either way, I think an interesting series as we have things kicking off here with the P250 probing outside. A drop down the vent very quickly coming in as well, as they've kept 3 players busy outside there with just the presence of 1. And it looks to give them B, although there might be a little bit of resistance here from Taco.
Yeah, this could be easier said than done. Down goes the first, Coldzera falling will make things a little bit tougher. Phelps adding more to the tally, may I say, with Taco dropping. And now the post-one, 5 versus 3, things looking good for Fluxo, 00Nation. This looks already a little bit dead in the water. How do they retake down towards that B site with the numbers not in their favor?
Do they even try? I mean, look at the utility they've got as well. They could contribute that towards a bit of a force buy here in this next round, have a decent shot perhaps at snatching things away, and that looks to be the decision.
Yeah.
I mean, a B retake is difficult enough, even if they were still 5-on-5 and 2 players with absolutely no Kevlar. They would have got torn apart by the Glocks, and they still might do. There's a bit of a hunt coming in. Lau, nice shots. Okay, he's getting a bit of money out of this as well, so that's always a nice little addition. And although one player looks to have gone down, I don't think anyone else will. Yeah, I was surprised they were still swinging there. They saw it was a P250, maybe just wanted to take that away.
Yeah.
Either way, Fluxo with the pistol round, good result.
Yeah, I gotta say, not bad at all. And I guess the main thing as well in that hunt is if you get a stray bullet that hits a bit of body armor, it forces them to rebuy again if they wanted to, right? So it makes it very, very difficult. For Fluxo, though, that is a dream start coming towards this map, right? Pistol round under their belt, on T-side of Nuke as well, which is pretty notoriously difficult to get under your belt and get the kind of momentum going. They'll be feeling pretty damn happy right about now. This is a very good game, right? You know, we've got legends in the server. There's age-old rivalries here as well. This will be very good. And of course, these two teams will know each other so well. There's history here. They would have played each other in scrims so often, and officials even more so. So they'll know each other like the back of their hands. It's a question of who can sort of delve deeper into the strat book, into the tactics, and be able to kind of overcome each other.
Yeah, both teams have a really solid core of 4 that have been together for a long time. Also with the somewhat recent additions, more so recent in the case of 00Nation. So some similarities in that regard. Both teams would like to prove their new lineup, I suppose. Taco have to find contact with this Deagle. Doesn't want to show himself too soon. There's 3 of them waiting. Cannot get back around the corner as he drops the nade either. Does dish out a little bit of damage though, so perhaps the scout can go ahead and capitalize and get a couple of entries. But I think they're slowing things down before they fully commit this towards B.
Yeah, big old
time though.
Big old force buy, right? That's the thing that really makes me feel uncomfortable. Force buying on a CT side, when you don't really have too much to bring to the table, can really come out to bite you, because it can allow Fluxo to get, what, 2, 3, 4 rounds under their belt before things get, settled in the dust once again. 00Nation, if they are going to lose this round, they need to at least make it expensive.
Yeah, it's heavy on the rifles for Fluxo as well, so the kills would definitely do so. Unfortunately, they've lost that B-bomb set already. The Mac-10 just lurking outside is perhaps something that they can take away, but he also has the opportunity here to potentially rack up a few kills of his own. Lau from the roof, though, might have the drop on him. Coldzera. An awkward angle with the Mac-10 to fight there for sure. He doesn't really care if he goes down at this point. I wouldn't imagine. It's all about keeping those rifles alive and winning the round. The Mac-10, it was just expendable.
Yeah.
Would have preferred 1 kill at least before going down, but well.
It was a hunt for cash, wasn't it? They was looking for that added bonus. Hang on, though. Scout could be falling. Never mind. All right, NQZ. Not a bad shot. Gotta say, VSM.
They could if they went for it. They don't realize, unfortunately.
Unless it gets blown their way, they might be able to pick it up right at the end here. No, not looking like the case. Okay, so either way, it's 00Nation. 0-2 down, right? But the buy over towards that CT side isn't exactly a dream. So this makes things all the more difficult coming towards this next round, where for 00Nation, they can't really once again force around it. It's not worth it going for this force buy here now. So we've got a good opportunity for Fluxo to start sort of running away with the earlier part of this map. And I don't know about you, Dean, but normally when I cast Nuke, I like to say the golden number of 6. If you can get 6 rounds on your T-side of Nuke, you actually set yourself, an okay second half.
Yeah, anything on top of that, I think, would just make things, it eases off that pressure a little on the CT side. It's always there, though, because you can have that economy collapse and things just spiral out of control. Oh, low health on Cold. I think he got hit by a nade there. Obviously, it's only the small bit that's saved forward. They would like to finally get some solid damage done, though. There's a few players who potentially could build up a solid economy here if they do manage to survive. Clearing the corners well. Nice kill by Phelps. Assisted well, but Taco managed to only take the one, but it looked like maybe the drop on the second was coming his way. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to find it. At this point, I think you save the Kevlar. The
Yeah.
Scout, I mean, do you save it over? You probably want something better in the next round, but it's one of those situations where you're like, you don't really waste a Scout, do you?
Yeah, it's one of the, I kind of feel like NQZ's got it in the locker, right? I feel like he's got that ability to make that scout rattle off and be relatively successful. So I don't actually mind if he keeps his ticking over. I think for Doomau, for him, he probably just wants to save the armor more than anything. But you could see a world in which he plays aggro excellence, tries to get, a kill, maybe an upgrade. Is it worth it? Probably not. He'd rather just have kind of a full buy coming towards the next round, and then kind of a 00Nation, it's a full reset. Have the ability to invest in towards rifles and actually finally be able to really contest with Fluxos, and which is so far been a pretty good start from the Fluxo side. 3-0 under their belts, already starting to get the snowball effect underway. Really, actually isn't too bad right now. Bomb goes off. Collected. And I gotta say, for Fluxo, there's been very few casualties as well. So they're already building up quite the stable T-side economy. And if they continue to have this economy ticking over, continue to have a fairly decent amount of money in arrears, we can see Fluxo really continue to run away with things just because they can't constantly put in this sort of economic pressure over towards 00Nation.
There we go. And QZ actually did decide to go ahead and upgrade to the op in the end. I was expecting Duma maybe to drop in a bit of utility he carried over, since NQZ could have done with a pistol maybe as a backup there to that op, but either way, they have a pretty solid buy, as you said here. Now they're focusing on getting this first gun round, hopefully, and beginning to turn the tides in their favor. Otherwise, it is really going to get troubling. Cold Zero in towards credit card. Nearly getting spammed up a little bit there. Was trying to play the timing game and see if he could outweight the player on top of Silo and eventually have him peak. Not happening for now, though. Smokes are going down. They're playing it fairly safe here on the Fluxo side. And it does look like most of the presence is going to be coming in this direction. Did he not spot Luca? I thought he did.
Oh.
Looks like he did.
He seems to be aware. Now he's definitely aware. The Molotov comes over. Will tick him. Cold Zero, and all time to get out of it. He'll double away. Playing over towards Config. It's a very difficult angle to hold to try and stop them crossing. But he might get one. No, drops. Phelps will find the third. That's the opening kill. Numbers going once again in favor of Fluxo. And if Fluxo finds success here once again, things get extremely concerning.
Yeah, they're completely wrapping in on them as well. They've spotted out at least two players. I think they're in towards the lobby, with Woody actually coming in from outside. So, yeah, this is pretty troubling. Doomau does at least spot the flank of Phelps. Taco manages to take out the lurk of Woody as well. So they're catching these stragglers on either side of the entrance to the bomb site right now, as they were trying to, I believe, just wait out that smoke towards main. This is trouble, and it's shifted back in favor of 00Nation for a moment. It doesn't last too long, though. VSM able to drop one. Lato showing his position now, could be in a bit of trouble, but he has the help of Taco as the molly goes down, perfectly timed as well. It is well put together by 00Nation there on the hold, and a fantastic recovery. They knew they were under threat. They had been spotted around lobby. They needed to make some sort of a play, and they attempted on it really on both extremities. They're in towards the lobby and up towards heaven, and just found success in both plays.
Well, that's it. There we go. 3-1. Not a bad start at all. Right now, so far, so good. Everything seems to be looking all right. I think for 00Nation, we were getting a little bit concerned. An opening kill coming through, and let's be honest, there was a world in which Fluxo walk away for 4-0 and everything starts to crumble away. But the fact that they've now put a round on the board, the orbs kept in play as well, generally speaking, nothing really to be all too concerned about.
Also, the Beast is yet to wake up. Cold is at 003, so he hopefully will come alive at some point and start putting some numbers on the board, and that'll also start to shift a little bit more towards 00Nation. So we'll see if they keep winning out these important swing rounds or not. Phelps with a quick entry on outside over the smoke. Never mind, I may have just jinxed Cold Zero a little bit. Sometimes you need a bit of hardship early on in the game, though, to get yourself warmed up and come back a bit angry. We'll see if he can do that. Lato gets caught as he tries to aggress Hut. The bomb, though, dropped by this flank of Taco. I'm not too sure if he's going to expect another coming in from the roof here. May have actually heard the scope, though, of history, as indeed he drops the flash in, and this is perfect. I believe, though, they should be able to recover this bomb. Phelps has got it. They just need to not keep losing health. Look at this. Both of them on the brink of death right now. Not even bothering with the bomb plant. They're going to try and wait this out.
This is risky, right? Because as time starts to tick, it kind of goes from being their best friend's the worst enemy. They're going to boost up in towards Wrath. I like this. It gives them the ability to wrap round in towards Heaven and play for a very, very passive post-spawn. This is a good call. Bomb should be able to go down relatively safely. And if the post-spawn gets set up as well with kind of Phelps baiting in all the attention, but then Luca posting away and just making sure he stays alive, this will be fine. Right now, I've got to say, 00Nation, they're in a rough spot. Retaking this becomes extremely difficult. They have to find a kill, and early.
Phelps tucked in here is the difference maker, potentially low health though, hoping that a distraction will serve him well there from Heaven, and it works out perfectly in towards the crossfire. Phelps with the final kill. It's going to be a fourth round rather for Fluxo, denying that second for 00Nation that really was necessary to build any sort of momentum. They have a few players who can kind of scrape together a bye, but it's not worth it. They're going to have to take an eco here and let Fluxo have a 5-1 lead. And as you said, at that point, they're getting very close to that sweet spot of already being kind of comfortable with the half.
I gotta say, so far, Fluxo are just looking very comfortable, aren't they? They're not really being pressured too much. And I think now we need to start looking over towards 00Nation and think, how are this side going to change up their CT side approach? I mean, so far, they've been very passive in their approach, allowing a lot of map control towards Fluxo and sort of allowing the T side essentially just get away with whatever they want to do. Take control of the maps, take the early engagements. Now we need to start seeing 00Nation, you know, be a little bit more aggressive. Take that forward approach to deny Fluxo setting themselves up for executes.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're getting right now from coldzera as well. He had not really had a lot of success playing the passive style, hiding behind the box earlier on. He got absolutely overwhelmed trying to play back from the CT spawn, also got taken out by Phelps, so he's up aggressive. He's making sure they can't get that cross into secret, and it's letting them solidify that upper bomb site defense instead, with Taco a little bit heavier towards ramp. Boosted up. It's a bit of a change up as well. They're playing some of these dodgy positions. It's what you need when you have a few weaker weapons in play. You need to get the drop on one or two players. You need some fortune on your side, really. And, well, unfortunately for coldzera, the patience, it's not quite there. Got a little bit angsty after the smokes went away and no knives had been heard by anyone on outside. Was maybe afraid they were wrapping even in towards main at that point.
I've got to say, that's a really good call from Fluxo. All they do is just pump the brakes. They cut noise, and it forces coldzera to look for information. And essentially, in coldzera's position, tucked over towards secret, you just want to stay there for as long as possible. You want to kind of rely on the rest of the team to gain the information, and for coldzera, essentially, to be the linchpin. If they go towards outside, he will go 1-for-1. That's why you kind of post someone up there. And the fact that they don't hear anything, they don't see anything, 00Nation, they get angsty, and they're thinking, okay, well, where are they going then? We've got to go have a look. coldzera pokes out his head, gets deleted. It's a really, really good round from Fluxo once again. And they're now using kind of the mind games to force this CT side into overextending and, well, find themselves into a rough position. The AWP trying to be collected. Because the other ideas, all drop Dumal, looking for more as well. And of course, we'll find it as Taco falls. He's NQZ all alone. The new boy on the block for 00Nation, no AWP in hands. He'd be hoping to scoop up that Dragon Lord, but I don't think he'll be given the rights to do so. Gets away with one. It's an expensive round for Fluxo, but it's still a round in their favor. And realistically, that's all that matters. Down goes NQZ, down goes 00Nation. Wow. Fluxo starting to seriously pull away on this T side.
Yeah, this is incredibly worrying. I mean, the only silver lining, I suppose, somewhat in it is that at least this is Fluxo's map pick. You have Anubis coming up next from 00Nation. That should shift the bias at least a little bit in their favor, although we have absolutely no idea if either team plays it. Perhaps they both play it, and maybe Fluxo would have had it at a second pick if they didn't already pick Nuke. You never know, because neither of them have any sort of history on HLTV, so definitely an interesting second map to come through with Ancient as a decider. But another weak investment from 00Nation. That sixth round we were talking about that should leave Fluxo looking happy already at the half time. It's going to come incredibly early. Unless these pistols have something to say about it. Already losing a couple of players. Dumo spotted out here as well. Just drops the smoke, and that should just give them access to the bomb site if they want here to scout, hoping for something from the ramp. Doesn't find any success either, and the AKs just tear them apart. One casualty. I mean, this is kind of standard at this point. They're keeping what they need alive, though. They're always building up a little bit of money. They've got at least a buy or two in the reserve. Plenty at this point. Even if they start losing a couple of rounds, they'll have loads of opportunities to try and, again, win out a gun round after taking an eco, because, well, it's still incredibly early, and they have a 6-1 lead.
That's it. You know, we're at a point now as well where 00Nation are stuck in this brutal cycle. It's kind of, you know, full buy-in, failure to find any success, eco rinse and repeat, and you can sort of never build up, you know, any confidence or any kind of stability over towards that CT side. And the CT side economy is so difficult to get stable anyway. So they've got all these external problems adding up. It's sort of a melting pot of madness over towards that CT side where they just can't find any success. Taco, have a look in. Nade'll come through, and that'll do a chunk of damage. That was about 200 across 4 players. And he's looking for more as well. A couple of tags coming through. Taco will just double back. Doesn't want to overextend too much, but he has to go at least 1-for-1 here.
Yeah, I like the off angle. That should allow it. Never mind. VSM is just way too quick. Drop the molly so no one can follow up the peak from hell. They're going to try and commit this to be as quick as they can. The closest rotation being Lato. I don't think he's going to be able to do anything. A perfect molly down the window. Even going to push up ahead of it so they can go ahead and get the control established, hopefully. Although with the damage done, they might not want to take too many risks. The nade again, that might find 2 of them. No, it's a tiny bit of damage onto a turret. 2 of them then actually significantly damaged. But I don't know if they're fully aware. They wouldn't realize the first nade done as much as it did either, obviously. So it's definitely a tempt and retake, but I'm not sure they're fully committing to it right now. I think the save is what they have in mind, and it makes sense with the money that's in play right now. But it really is the best opportunity they've had in a while to win a round.
No, I agreed. This has been the best chance we've seen 00Nation have numbers to work with, utility to work with, and of course, the rifles on deck. Once they're locked out of that B site, it's such a tough slog to get back into a position to fight their way back in. I can sort of understand the mindset around it. VSM will fall to the bomb, but aside from that, that's a really, really solid round. And it continues to take over. Dean, this has just been a super solid performance so far from Fluxo. Very few errors. Very simplistic, traditional Counter-Strike being played here, but at such a high level. This is kind of the fundamentals you like to bring towards Counter-Strike. But they're being played now to perfection by Fluxo. And it's forcing 00Nation to overextend, to get a little bit testy. And they're struggling. They're struggling to keep you know, competitive and keeping this game. I'm loving what I'm seeing so far.
It seems like the reads are almost perfect as well. They swap up their playstyle to counteract 00Nation just as they swap it up themselves. I mean, here Luca goes up and catches coldzera crossing over. Earlier on when he wanted to play in towards Secret, we seen him wait it out so long that coldzera got impatient and peaked. We seen them only go towards ramp as a group for the first time when Taco got relatively aggressive. Yeah. Obviously they got naded and that kind of backfired, but they still had the right calls in mind. It seems like they really know what's up and have a read on 00Nation right now.
No, agreed. Absolutely. coldzera, unfortunate for him. He's been slow to get started today, and I think that's sort of a summary of what we've seen from 00Nation. They are slow to get alive, get kicking. Dumal, Taco, one apiece. Dumal making a double. Bomb dropped as well. Now there's a lot to work with. Numbers favour the CT side, but maybe not momentarily. He's made trigger discipline. Oh, but he can't quite make it the second. Lukosi had the room to work with. And now leaves VSM all alone in a 1 versus 3.
Well, quickly checks off the first of the 3. Unfortunately, it is the one that was already low. Still 2 full health players he's got to deal with, and the timing is just unfortunate. Looks away as Taco peaks. You might have had a shot at it right there. I was going to say initially that isolating the fights would probably be difficult, but they give them to him and just managed to rip their heads off. A lot of confidence from 00Nation, considering the scoreline there on the individual fights they were taking kind of across the board, to play in towards Door through the smoke as well. It was risky, but that's exactly what they needed. They couldn't just keep sitting back and allow Fluxo to just simply roll over them, really. That's what's been happening.
No, exactly that. Spot on. Of course, deficit now down to 5. It's doable. It's doable. But I've got to say, Fluxo and Myers have already done more than enough. History sitting in the Molotov, taking a bit of damage, walking straight in towards NQC. And there we go. The new boy on the block, finding some final success. We know this guy can frag. We know what he's capable of doing, of course, previously with 9Z. Phelps will continue to tick along. Now the numbers brought level once again. What's the plan of action? Taco in a very aggressive position. He needs to be careful. If he gets caught off guard, that cracks open the B-ramp position, and Dumal falling means outside now becomes vulnerable.
Yeah, looks like they're going to drop the bomb back around towards lobby, though, instead. So, yeah, the split in towards A is the goal. I don't think we've really seen this yet, but either way, the read is in place from 00Nation. NQZ decides he doesn't want to wait around either. Pushes Hood. Swats one down with the op, and Lato, despite being blinded, somehow gets away with that kill on Luca, I think, who was team blinded as well. So an all-around unfortunate situation. It's all onto Phelps' shoulders now. And while a decent bit of damage on Lato is done, pretty low himself, though, at this point. He's going to need to finish this one off fast, and well, somehow managed to recover the bomb that I don't think is really going to be all that recoverable. Although Taco's alone on the op right now. The other player, I believe, up on top of Silo. Weird positioning.
Well, now for Phelps. It feels like a lost cause already. Yeah, Taco see him off. It looked dead in the awards. Of course, the main thing, all being kept across. They're not opting for the double orb setup, but I actually don't mind that call. I think Nuke has viability in the old double orbs, but right now for 00Nation, just stick to the fundamentals. There's just no need, is there, for kind of, you know, pushing the boat out or trying to do anything too overzealous or anything special. Keep taking over. Keep doing what they're doing. And maybe we can see 00Nation start to claw themselves back in towards this game. But so far, it's a position where I've got to say, Fluxo are more than happy just to keep taking over. This is just an eco buy, though. They're looking to flood down towards Vent. That's the bomb drop already to the hands of Lato. And maybe this round might be done already.
Yeah, Lato loving the door rushes. That's what you're always hoping for as a door player, that they all just run through the smoke. You're not getting sprayed at or anything. Just free reign. And when he comes away with the 2, and they have now lost Cold Zero again, who really is having a blunder of a game. Not too sure what's been going on with him. We will see an uptick in performance at some point, I would imagine. We know what he's capable of. We've all had these kind of stretches of games. It's only been 10 rounds, in all honesty. It's really not that long to have a few struggles. Lao, though, he's doing all the work, cleaning things up. Nice molly as well. Nicely timed as the smoke, I believe, faded away. Words, why are they so difficult?
Right
now, still want this door push.
Yeah. They still seem to like they want to dive down Vent. That seems to be a plan of action. And I was going to say Dumal can stop it, but now we can't. Bomb can get planted. But they need to go now. They need to beat the orb towards the site. If they can go for a frontside plant, things are okay. And NQC's doubling away. Does he think it's going towards the B site? It's going to be the wrong call. The bomb will go down, and now they're waiting on a retake. A 2 versus 2. And we can see an eco converted there, Dean.
Yeah, I don't know how we've gotten into this situation, but it's happened. VSM also now recovers himself a rifle. Spotted at least one player up in heaven. They should be able to confirm both are coming in. A solid dink manages to distract for Phelps, and well, it looks like Taco's hopes and dreams are shot at this point. He's going to have to back away, saving that up so that they have at least something salvaged into this next round. So many S's. And this is just not going well for 00Nation, is it? An 8th round to Fluxo, a 2-on-4 with just pistols initially in play. Somehow turned on its head. And I mean, both players were already relatively damaged, right?
Yeah, no, exactly that. I mean, that's a round that realistically never should happen. Even when you look at Dumal, opens things up, a double kill to his name, everything looking fine. Fluxo should have fallen flat there, and they managed to claw back success from nothing. The Tech-9 finding a kill into his top part, that was the nail in the coffin. That's what sold things, and that's a brutal round to lose. I mean, they should never be losing that sort of round. Rough to see. Really is. Yeah. Another pause being called, or the first pause being called, may I say.
Pause,
yeah, by 00Nation. But to be perfectly honest, but the way they've lost control of things right now, you'd sort of have expected them to have done this a little bit earlier. They're at a 5-round deficit. Fluxo and T-side of Nuke have guaranteed a lead already at the half. And the way they are playing, I mean, they're sort of on track to maybe even get double digits at the half.
Yeah, I kind of slipped my mind that they should have had a pause by this point and just hadn't had one. You know, when it came up that it was the first pause, I was like, oh yeah, this is the first pause. But either way, I mean, yeah, as you said, 00Nation, they need to have a chat about what's going on in the next gun round, I imagine, is where most of the focus was shifted towards. But yeah, they have an offer to work with, some pistols, a little bit of utility. We'll see if something can be done, maybe even some damage that perhaps gives them the opportunity to make that final round of a 3-round stretch a little bit easier. That's kind of the optimal that they're playing for right now. Unless they have a miracle, NQZ can just pop off with the up.
Exactly. He has that ability, right? I mean, that's the thing that's given me a little bit of hope that potentially we can see some 00Nation success coming through. The jump throw without the throw, just the jump. A little bit of a bunny, a little hop. And Spokes will finally now come towards our side. The classic, they were actually under the moniker of the Copenhagen Flame Smokes. But 00Nation will drop them. Or Fluxo, may I say, as 00Nation try to, at the very least, find a couple of heads. I mean, with this sort of buy, we're not expecting too much. Realistically, it's make sure that orb doesn't fall. That's the only thing that we're hoping for here. Just make sure that things aren't too expensive for themselves in terms of make sure that orb doesn't drop. Maybe a couple of people staying alive would be nice. Oh, once we spotted. Yeah, Latos, he's not long lived for this world. Easy swing, right eye peek. Phelps found the first. Looking for more as well. He knows Dumal was over towards heaven, so he should be able to get a little bit of space to work with. But again, this should be very comfortable for Fluxo.
Yeah, I mean, we say that though. We just seen what Pistols can do in the previous round. Obviously, it's been mostly Fluxo finding the success, but it's not like the players on 00Nation aren't capable of stepping up and doing similar.
True.
So I don't want to completely count them out. Doomau, he's been having his moments for sure. The Deagle, though, not going to find any success up close in the lockers. Not really the ideal position for it. Coldzera and NQZ still standing. Never mind. Make that just NQZ. And he's going to back away and save the op. He was already on the way to do so, actually. Never mind. Going down to B. Maybe they were unsure for a moment where the bomb was going to go down, but also kind of just trying to get himself to safety. Hoping to do so anyway. He is being hunted at this point. The first kill comes in, but there's still a ton of time, so this might actually be a struggle. Even History's thrown his own op at it. I mean, they don't have all that much money on the side of Fluxo.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. I gotta say. Actually, to be fair though, even though they don't have a lot of money, I was gonna say the hunt's worth it, right? When you've got a Galil in play, maybe an AK or two, generally speaking, as long as you have 3 players stay alive, you can drop over. If it was 2, they can make something work because they'll know that they're going to break the back of 00Nation once again and kind of force them to heavily invest. So I would have gone for that either way. I'm glad that they did because now, I mean, look, once again, look at what we're seeing for 00Nation. They are completely distraught right now. They can't seem to find any sort of momentum, any sort of success coming through. And brother, it's another attack pause coming through. I think it's safe to say now we're in a position where we can pretty kind of comfortably assume that it's, you know, it's panic stations, alarms going off over towards 00Nation because they are seriously falling behind. And the fact that we're seeing Fluxo put up such a dominant display over towards the T side of Nuke worries me with doubt for not only the map but the series, because at the same time as well, Anubis is generally regarded as a T-sided map. It's regarded as, at the moment, kind of unofficially one of, if not the most T-sided map in the pool right now. So if Fluxo are playing this sort of level of Counter-Strike on their T side, which, like I said, it's just perfection on the fundamentals, we could see an absolute massacre in towards Anubis too, unless 00Nation are able to get themselves alive and kicking once again.
I mean, momentum-wise, if they keep this up, they also might just have a shot at having a fantastic CT side on Anubis. They actually chose to start, I believe, CT over there, so
yeah,
it'll be an interesting one for sure. I also wonder if we'll get Ancient. I'd love to see that one. The 3 kind of, I'd say, oddball maps. You can interchange Nuke, probably, but either way, these outside smokes again going down. No one really spotting it from heaven this time either, so the cross the secret does come in. The only issue, obviously, after this is what the hell do you do with the bomb? It's always difficult to get it down towards B, so let's see what the play is. For now, they're just waiting, expecting aggression. I mean, there's got to be some sort of change up from 00Nation after their pause, right? That's perhaps the thought process. Also, the fact that they no longer know what's going on outside. The fact that there could be a player in towards secret at this point. They do potentially need to rotate someone down towards B or get some info about what the hell is going on elsewhere.
Yeah, no, exactly that. Well, he's still coming through. Bit of space to work with down towards double doors. Phelps leading the charge as well. Phelps has a lot of free reign so far. 18 kills to his name and only 6 deaths. Safe to say he's feeling it. And he's continuing to look for engagement. So he knows that he can rely on his aim jewels. And so far it's been working. So I don't discredit at him at all. And Taco caught off guard. Phelps is getting so much space. And he just continues to be a nuisance. But they're popping out towards the A site. They've got B. And VSM will make it work. Lato will fall. But down will go the bomb. And of course, Woody will follow in the same suit. A 3K for Doomau as well. AWP collected. And potentially Phelps has a masterclass. But this might be him dead in the water here.
He's been having a fantastic game, though. If anyone can do it right now, this is the man. Unfortunately, though, pinned in from every possible angle. He had no time. They were all kind of peeking, though. So it was, I was expecting a couple of headshots to come out and then for the third player to just go ahead and tuck away, but never mind. Just hyping it up for nothing. I always like Phelps. He's still 19-7, though, having a ridiculous performance at the moment, so we'll see if he keeps this up throughout the rest of the series, throughout the rest of this map as well. I mean, having someone performing like this, if he quiets down and no one really steps up to fill his shoes, it could be an opportunity for 00Nation on that second half to have a pretty decent T-side performance of their own, but we'll see exactly how that plays out. It's also harder to kind of pull off a performance like that on the CT side once they swap over.
No, agreed. I gotta tell you, this is quite an important round, mainly over towards 00Nation because...
Double up.
win this, they break the economy over towards Fluxo, but sort of the same the other way. Whoever wins this round breaks the back of the other, and Lukosi will open things up for the first, looking for doubles as well, and of course we'll get it, the 2-for-1 special. Can he make it a 3-piece? Of course he can. NQZ will fall. That's the ace cracked open like a walnut. And well, Bob's your uncle. 00Nation left down to 2 in a 2 versus 4 retake as Bar about to go down momentarily. This one should be done as Phelps will add already more to that extremely impressive tally. And coldzera, I think it's safe to say he'll go for a save.
Yeah, hoping maybe someone would drop down, give them a bit of utility or whatever, but not much you can do about retaking that site. And AK is incredibly valuable along with the 1600 he already has. Should be able to give a rifle over to a teammate and salvage something coming into the final round of the half at least. I mean, as you said a few times, it really is a desperate situation at this point. Woody brought down to 2. They're still going to hunt them, of course. They know how valuable even one rifle is to them at this point, so I don't think he's going to be getting away with it. Would have needed some incredible shots. Phelps is just a bit too quick on the trigger, and coldzera was expecting the flank through the vents as well. He had too many angles to deal with. Wasn't quite ready for it. Yeah, the economy's really in the gutter at this point. A single rifle is what coldzera can afford. Dumao maybe goes with a FAMAS. NQZ is going to have an SMG as well. Yeah, it's pretty horrible, honestly.
I think it's safe to say this one is already looking like we might even slowly but surely be kind of focusing our attention over towards that map number 2, because this is a complete massacre right now. Phelps, please don't tell me he's just flying out towards red, create a lot of space. Created an opening kill for him. Phelps cannot be stopped right now. coldzera needs a martyr card, needs multiple kills, but he'll get nothing. VSM for a double. This has just been perfection of the highest regard. Potentially, we can see 11 rounds at the half as well, and it's looking like exactly that. Only Taco to deny in a 1 versus 3 with an MP9, but it's looking like Fluxo will find their 11th momentarily. And yes, they will, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to throw this one to a break when we are back. Second half on the way. It's 11 for Fluxo. We'll see you all in just a moment. Hello and welcome back. Not a bad half for Fluxo, I think it's safe to say. 11-4 is an absolutely astounding performance on that T side. And now they go into the more favourable side of the CT. 00Nation need a miracle to get back into this. VSM going to be tested. And Taco gets a jumping one tap at the Glock at close range. Duma one more. Okay, not a bad start, Dean.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that he was also blind, so a very successful endeavor for Taco considering all the circumstances. And well, with a man advantage, 00Nation off to a decent enough start. History, the timing here is horrible for him rather, as they come out the door as well. And divert as attention rather. I don't know, words. There's such a struggle for me today, apparently. Woody though being dinked up alongside Phelps. I mean, they may as well give it a go at this point, but they could consider just saving the Kevlar. And that looks to be the play. Yeah, I mean, why not? Maybe they get 1 or 2 kills if anyone tries to hunt them down, but really wasn't too successful of a pistol round for Fluxo. Save a little bit, maybe it goes towards a force buy in this next round. I think personally I'd rather see them take the eco and just aim towards a strong buy early, but I'm not too sure that that's the play we'll get.
I agree, right? I think that maybe going to make something work in their favour. Now, though, not the case. Woody keeping on to what he got. So I have jewelries to work with in towards the next. And hey, it's a better start. We can take anything we can get right now. I mean, for 00Nation, they needed a miracle coming in towards this second half. They needed some early form in towards that T-side of Nuke. And there it is. That gives them money to work with. Gives them a little bit of confidence, finally, for this side. And we can start thinking that maybe something might come of this. A Fluxo, I don't think it's the end of the world, but they are actually going to force buy in towards the second round. Now, I mean, you know, the standard meta at these days is force buying in towards that second round, win or lose, right? Regardless, get a force buy out. I'm not a huge fan of it when you don't win the round on CT, because it just means you can never have a conclusive buy. I mean, Phelps got a FAMAS, History's got the Scout, and then, you know, just a few pistols to support. It's definitely not a dream buy, and they're going to struggle to find any sort of success here. But if they do, then, of course, things are looking great.
Yeah, it's really high risk, really high reward, but I think I don't think the risk is all that necessary when you have an 11-5 lead, really. So I'm with you that I would prefer them aim towards a strong buy as early as possible, but we'll see. I guess they want to keep the pressure on. There's always the possibility that you just get rolled over on those eco rounds and the economy really gets out of hand, and then maybe the first gun round doesn't go good anyway, and then things are just ruined. So there's a bit of risk in everything, really. We'll see how this plays out. VSM in position at least to try and put a stop to this B push alongside Luke. They have 2 interesting angles as well. These Deagles, they'll need to land difficult shots though to make this work, and it's not happening. NQZ takes VSM out. A second follow-up as well to confirm that B-bomb site control, and at this point you save the remaining 3 weapons. You try and do damage in the next round instead. Yeah. Maybe get an exit or 2.
I think, yeah, full save here, right? I mean, I think even setting yourself up for an aggro exit play actually could be quite risky, because you're going to have essentially a weird and wonderful buy-in towards the next anyway. With a combination of the 3 remaining alive and the 2 that are dead, they could get some sort of weird and wonderful drop system going where they can have an okay half buy, but they need to make sure everybody stays alive and no one takes any damage as well, so they have to rebuy in towards armor. That's the main thing. Dumao looking in, spotting. History will fall. Scout will be scooped up by Woody. But now the buy-in towards the next one is going to be weird. I mean, for 00Nation, they're absolutely flying right now. They're looking much more confident on towards that T side. This is what matters. I hate to say it, and I hate to use it, you know, the old 8.11.4 Zonic's law, all of that stuff. I hate talking about it, because I don't believe in it at all. But, you know, there's a world in which 00Nation start to find form towards their T side. A bit of confidence, momentum under their belt could really turn things back in their favor. And they could actually make a competition on Nuke and, you know, maybe even force themselves into competing for map number 1, which we never really thought was a possibility, especially at the halfway mark.
No, I mean, in the early stages, I always thought it was a possibility because of the level of players you have on 00Nation, even though we knew it was Fluxo's map choice. But very early, it became clear that that wasn't really the case in the first half. But yeah, they have their chance to turn it around. It's a few weapons still in play. There's the FAMAS and the Scout here, so some damage at least potentially to be done for Fluxo. But the main thing is they're going to have a pretty solid buy in this next round. We're going to see whether Phelps is keeping up his level of performance now on the CT side, and if he's going to be joined by a couple others who can make some of those more aggressive plays, because he won't be able to do everything here on the CT.
No, he won't. He won't. It's just asking a little bit too much. Right now, 00Nation, good opportunity, and probably they should find themselves at the 7A. I'd be extremely surprised if they don't. There's a bit of gap on the left-hand side of that smoke. Cold Zero will punish regardless. Phelps will fall, FAMAS dropped, and once again, now everything really starting to crumble away. Damage being dealt with the scout at range, but finding kills, it still seems like it's asking just a tad too much. The flash will force Woody off the angle. Reaggressing in. More damage being dealt with. The pistols now making this expensive. Hang on a second. Do Mal post his way up? The question is, does he get spotted? No. Yes, in fact. VSM peers his head out. Finds yet one more. So regardless, Fluxo are making this expensive.
Yeah, not really managing to keep any sort of any of the trades rather that they were finding. It was always a quick return again from 00Nation, so they handled it well at least. As you said though, keeping 3 alive is really the bare minimum that you want against a buy here that was only a FAMAS and a scout. Even then, it wasn't either of those that really done the damage in terms of getting both kills.
Yeah.
A little bit of a flank down towards B from ramp though. I don't think he's gonna be able to do anything with a USP, unfortunately. If he had even a P250, maybe he could snatch one headshot. Don't think it's gonna be happening though. Okay, I thought it was perhaps a bit of a dink I heard there. Apparently not. Lato was low, so a bit of a wild spam into the smoke. May have found some success, but either way, gets spotted in the end, taken down. It's 11-7, 00Nation. They get the easy enough 3-round beginning for themselves there, and managed to do so while building up a pretty solid economy, but they're going to expend quite a bit of that money right now. So while this is a bit of a bonus in terms of having some weaker weapons, losing this one would leave a player or two kind of on the edge of not being able to buy. So really both teams want to be winning this early gun round.
That's it, Woody. Taking aggro play over towards that single door position. With it naded open as well, they can continue to sort of force 00Nation further and further back. Looking like they want to head over towards ramp, and VSM will double away. He drops a smoke and he just gives up the control. And they're going to flash their way through. This is now all this control coming through, but that's the bomb dropped. Taco falling. This bonus buy not looking good already. The Molotov's coming through. VSM trying to make it one more. Only damage dealt as Lato somehow, some way, but the finest of margin stays alive. And for an open play for NQZ, they can just lock off this position.
I liked the play though. Honestly, it was desperate from VSM, but that's what they needed once he had unfortunately mistimed his journey away from ramp right there. Doesn't quite get the kill on Lato, but he does solid damage and leaves it in the 4-on-4, at least for the moment. Still a chance for a play to be made from Fluxo, although 00Nation might have a push in mind also. They're finally looking at taking this down B. They had been chilling on ramp for quite a while. I believe it's that Woody who's already down towards B. No, he's up on Hut right now. Do they have any presence on B? Must be Luca.
Yeah, I think it's Lucosi maybe. Tucked into those rafters.
Oh, he's on A as well. He's down on the A bomb site itself. They've actually gone heavy towards A with just one towards outside, I believe, there being history. So no one at all on B. They've managed to just walk their way on towards B. Okay, a little bit of a risk maybe from Fluxo. The first gun round, they do have a kit, sure, but they don't have a ton of utility for the retake. So retaking A would have been incredibly difficult. Just risk it all 3, hoping that they had the read correctly, and unfortunately, they did not.
No.
Yeah.
And now, of course, you look over towards Fluxo, and it's a question of, do we even want to tempt fate with a retake here? They go for a gamble stack. It's a risky call. It doesn't work. So they are just going to give it up. They don't even want to test it. They're going to fall away back over towards spawn and keep all of the rifles. Fluxo, it's a very risky play there to be going for a gamble stack. When it pays off, you look like a genius. But when it doesn't work in these sort of situations, it just makes you look so foolish, right? And I feel like it's a little bit overzealous. There was sort of no need, right? They've taken one casualty. History taking a bit of damage, but if they still just park someone up over towards double doors or one over towards rafters, even maybe taking a bit of ramp aggression by rotating all the way back round, they would have been fine. But I think it's a very risky play there because it's just given too much space for Fluxo to work with there. And, well, they've been punished. They really have been punished. And now, of course, we're starting to see slowly but surely 00Nation breathing down the neck of Fluxo and starting to chip away at this deficit. I think for Woody, the IGL, it's a very risky call there to go for a gamble stack, and it doesn't pay off. And now, of course, for 00Nation, they're feeling, pretty confident.
Yeah, I'm getting pretty worried for Fluxo. Phelps has been completely quiet since swapping over, and that can happen. I mean, he had 22 kills in that previous half. Let the man have a rest for sure, but no one else, unfortunately, has stepped up to fill those shoes. You have to see that happen real soon. Really has to happen here and now, as this is the best buy they've had by quite a bit rather on the side of Fluxo. One thing they've been lacking is the op. It hasn't really allowed them to gain any presence towards outside, but that's not even an area that 00Nation have been doing a ton with. Right now as well, the focus looking like it might be more so towards inside. They do have two players now beginning to show a little bit of presence. NQZ finding that fight up against Phelps, actually damaged pretty heavily and naded away rather. I don't think he's going to be able to do a ton about actually keeping them back from outside right now with just the M4. So Phelps indeed beginning to back away slowly but surely, just making this ground cost and making sure they use their nades and that they waste some time and actually managing to make their way towards outside. The drop down was risky for Dumau, and unfortunately the damage from Phelps ensures that the fall is going to finish him off.
Yeah. Nice bit of damage there. History will find one towards NQZ. coldzera doing his best. Couple of taps. Gets one. There's information on a second as well. But as long as Phelps stays alive, he can just deny that rotation coming through. It's all that counts because Woody will double up for support. Finding one. Then Phelps pounces. Oh, Taco dropping. Safe to say for Lato. This feels dead in the water, but maybe not. 1 versus 4. This would be the clutch of the game so far. Maybe one of the clutches of the qualifiers. It's not to be Lukosi, other ideas. Lato will fall, and finally success back in the hands of Fluxo. Dean, it's been a hot minute. It's been a little bit of a while, but finally we can start saying things are looking good towards Fluxo.
Yeah, solid team effort as well. I mean, I think it was like kills all across the board nearly. One of them had 2. Don't think VSM was able to contribute, but well, the main thing is everyone steps up. The question is now, can they go ahead and replicate that? Because they had at least done successful damage throughout some of those earlier rounds. So the economy, while it was plentiful for 00Nation to buy here, it's somewhat on the brink now. So if they can win out the second round, they manage to take control. At that point, the 14th round, perhaps even coming off the back of it. And then 00Nation are again massively on the back foot. On the other hand, if 00Nation return around immediately of their own, then things do get incredibly difficult for Fluxo. Woody, I think, may have heard the steps of Doom out there, actually pushed up and, yeah, seems pretty aware. Catches the fallback and, well, just about comes out on top of that fight. It was actually very close.
Yeah, a little messy, I gotta say. Taco, doubling away. Wants to regroup. Now, what's the plan? What's the call to arms here? Things will just go ever so quiet. Bit of a spam coming through, but generally looks like Alta Smokes want to come through. Hang on, Phelps. Cheeky boy, look at this. Will be caught by the flash. That nearly, and it should have cost him his life, but it doesn't. coldzera can't quite confirm the spray, and through the flames, NQZ, what is that idea? What is the call to action there? A dink on towards Lato 2. Phelps has had a cracker of a round. And this has got to be done now, surely. It's a 2 versus 4, and I think, honestly, you're looking at 00Nation with the orb collected, they might even save.
Yeah, I mean, Phelps, though, to go back to him, he's just having a cracker of a game in general. Obviously a slower start to this half, but he wasn't always on the weapon, and I guess he just wanted to go ahead and shut me up real quick after saying, obviously, that he needed a rest. He was like, no, I don't, man. Just give me the opportunities. Give me a weapon, give me a nice little spot, and I will come away with at least a couple of kills. Yeah, all dependable.
Yeah.
And yeah, the save that you were mentioning has indeed been confirmed by Taco and Lao. Understandable. 12 health on the op. Taco with a smoke as well. It's going to be in addition to coldzera's money, which can already fund him an AK. I think they'll probably be able to get together a pretty solid buyout of this. There shouldn't really be any weaknesses. The drop from Lao coming in as well towards 1. I mean, yeah, actually 1 player is going to be left on a weaker weapon. We'll see exactly who that is. It's not NQZ, obviously, because he's going for the op. He could just go body armor, I suppose, and give the AK to someone else.
Yeah, potentially. I think it's such a risky call, I think.
Utility.
Yeah, I think for me, you know, the buy coming in here is going to be really weird and wonderful. Lato's not going to have too much to bring to the table. It'll probably be Galil, maybe even down to a Mac 10 if he wants to prioritize a bit more utility. I think for him, Galil and, of course, the armor he's got should be fine. So all in all, there'll be a buy coming out, but it's not exactly the one that kind of fills you with confidence, so to say. Well,
no, more Galil than I was expecting as well.
Yeah, we'll see how things pan out, but this is not looking good. I mean, this is a great opportunity for Fluxo now to start getting already, you know, the red carpet being rolled out for this map going in their favor. I mean, take this round, it breaks the back of 00Nation. As long as if they take this round and deny a bomb plant coming out, then 00Nation have essentially got, what, 1 full buy left in this game, which is, you know, a horrible situation for them, and essentially they'll be playing for overtime. So, not good. Not good at all. But we'll have to wait and see how things pan out for 00Nation. They have to find success here. They have to convert this round.
Yeah, they heavily prioritize this utility as well, that they've gone ahead and thrown early towards outside. So I'd imagine it's going to be important to their plan. We haven't seen them heavily focus, I suppose, towards outside. Usually leaving 2 or 3 in towards lobby. This time 4 of them grouped. 1 up on silo as well. That's the 3 down low. They're just trying to creep their way across, hoping, I guess, for someone to go ahead and tempt fate, show themselves, and try and find out what the hell is going on towards outside.
Well, for now, quiet, slow. Space
I like
being
it.
taken. But yeah, like you said, right, I like that both sides are very tentative. I think for 00Nation, this is more out of fear than sort of hoping for a mastermind. They know that this is a do or die situation. They know this is a must convert round. If they don't find success here, I think it's safe to say this could be done.
Yeah, I didn't realize they had used all of their smokes toward that. I thought they still had the 2 left. I was gonna initially say I like the idea of just showing so much presence and then slowing it and waiting for the response, because they didn't know if anyone had made it across secret. It's only now, of course, that they spot that the cross is coming in, and Lucas somehow gets away with 2, despite at that point pretty much being pincered in, rather. I don't know how he gets away with it. Either way, it's gonna have to be a desperate play from the final 3 players here for 00Nation. Taco somehow pulls back 1. Although I think that was up towards A, just cutting off one of the lurkers. It's not going to be too useful to them trying to actually get this bomb onto the site, as you can see, and it falls apart. It's only Taco on that A bomb site left standing, and there's nothing that he can do. Lucas still lurking up there. Comes through with a 3rd kill for himself. It's 14 to 8, 00Nation, as you said, now looking at an eco before they have to play for an overtime, needing 7 rounds in a row. It is not a good position to be in.
No, not good at all. I think it's safe to say this one looking like he's had his last legs. Of course, this is the map pick of Fluxo. Anubis, our second map, the pick of 00Nation. I don't think confidence is going to be flying through this team heading in towards their map pick. They would need, you know, a strong starting towards Anubis. And we'll get to all of that a little bit later. But right now, I'm not looking too comfortable. Swinging out towards ramp. VSM for 1, for 2. Easy. Can he make it 3? Of course he can. Looking for more, but he can't quite get it. History should be able to see things off. Spam through the smoke will actually cost him his life. History finding 1 more. Of course, left with 15 points of HP. If he drops down, he'll die.
Yeah, I mean, maybe just hoping that he gets another kill out of this at this point. Perhaps give them a shot at breaking the economy with only a couple of rounds in a row. That could make the long comeback of 7 rounds seem quite a bit shorter if they can force some ecos early on. I don't think winning the round is really within the realm of possibility, though, and unfortunately no kills at all going to be taken. Upgrade to the 8-gator for Woody as well. It's always nice. Didn't realize he was having such a slow game, actually. Only a 6 and 11.
Yeah. I guess you can make the argument of, you know, IGL in that way, right? So,
yeah.
you know, but
plus you have VSM and Phelps just
exactly.
Yeah.
But do you know what, to be honest, I don't like that argument too much of, you know, oh, he's an IGL, he doesn't frag. I think that meta is sort of falling away, and that was sort of one of the reasons as well why Woody got dropped from kind of his previous team, and of course then got picked up by Fluxo because he was having these sort of rough performances back in you know, latter stages of 2022, or in the mid stages of 2022, latter stages of 2021. I think Woody, we're hoping that maybe, you know, this is just a case of, like you said, you know, VSM Phelps are absolutely farming, so he's not being needed to step up. But if it is still the slow performances, this could get really rough. He's setting up, he's hoping for a vent dive. If he does, he can get a couple of knives under his favor. Right now, 1 minute 20 to work with. 00Nation backs against the wall. Fluxo, map point.
Yeah, and I mean, it's basically the previous round, isn't it? But without as much utility in the early stages, not as much presence being shown towards outside, and this time Fluxo have even set themselves up with a player deep in towards secret. Helps in the warehouse as well. Tilty though going down well. The molly up close on secret stops any info from being obtained. They're actually going to try and wrap up close on main. I like the idea to split in towards A. Unfortunately, Woody is ready for it. He's gotten himself 2 kills already before trying a little bit of a change in the smoke, which falls true. But it's just such a disjointed push, really, from 00Nation. No one's ready for the trades. NQZ was still coming down from the roof as well, and they have just gotten destroyed. It's a 16 to 8 for Fluxo. They come through with a quick win on Nuke, showing why they chose it, really.
Yeah, exactly that. And, well, you know, we went straight in towards the game, but you can say hello to our wonderful face. It's good to see you. But, yeah, what a game by Fluxo. What a performance. There's very little when you look at that game and you can say, on a bit of a negative note, everything seemed to pan out perfectly, just as expected, just as they would have wanted. And now this sets up a bit of an interesting time looking towards, you know, our map number